Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Param Ishvaro Guratmeti Motiveda Vivagine Yomabda Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Savavedanta Sedanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Satiguru Pranatoshmam Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti Om, Namaste. Okay, we have seen last class, verse 13, deluded by these states of mind which are affected by the three gunas. The whole world does not know me, people, the jivas, do not know me, the human jivas more specifically, do not know me because I'm beyond the gunas. I'm the changeless, attributeless, motionless consciousness. But people, they get deluded because of the attraction. Just imagine how boring to experience nothing. Because Brahman is also referred to as a mass of one without a second, and it's one without a second, but without any color, shape, taste, touch to it. There is nothing to it. It's the only reality. But it is not attractive because there are no gunas involved. There are no, no way we can touch, feel, and experience it. So the whole world of Jiva do not know me because I am beyond the gunas. And the gunas make this apparent reality very attractive. And that is a fact, even if it hurts, but somehow we like to engage. One good example, I have been talking a little bit here and there with Mark, is like all human relationships, they may be attractive, but they potentially they are source of disagreement and conflict. But we can't do without it, That's the funny thing, most people. So that's the case with Brahman, beyond the gunas, without any attributes, beyond time, beyond space, and nobody's really interested because everybody's distracted with the world of Namarupas. So in the previous verse, Krishna he has concluded the topic of the nature of Ishvara. Just to recap, God is a mixture of para and paraprak.ti. The second feature is that God is the intelligent cause, the creator, and the preserver, and he's the destroyer as well. So we need to understand the entire nature of Vishwara, as the one who projects, sustains, and destroys. Another feature which is important is God appears as the world. The entire manifestation of the world is God as well, because he's not only the intelligent cause, but the material cause. Therefore, we have to find a way to see the world as something divine, because fundamentally it is God. And that is what the teachings on Vishvarupa, Vishwara, to develop this vision of Vishwara as the world is very, very important in terms of maturity. The fourth and final feature we have seen that God is the cause and the world is the effect. And then we are seeing the most profound aspect of God. God is Satya, the world is Mithya. God as Nirguna Atma is free and independent. And then the world is Mithya, it enjoys a dependent existence, which comes from God, Nirguna God. And then that's where we stopped our class last time. Krishna Svarupa is over. Now we are following the 13th verse. What does he say here? So I'm saying, so when everything is God, why there should be suffering in this world? So I think we covered this passage as well. No? There is suffering in the world because somehow the exercise of free will, or conformation of free will to the laws and principles of the Creator is something not so easy, because every human being is under the pressure of one's likes and dislikes. And then we suffer. But it's not fair. I was born with so much likes and dislikes. I cannot help it, I could have been born with a nice causal body. But there is no way we can excuse ourselves, because any time is a time to begin purifying our vasana load, or vasana load. First, I will give you an essence of this verse. So Swami is bringing the essence of the verse 13th. Is it the 13th we have seen? Yeah, we are just beginning the 13th. And that people are deluded and so on. And why they are deluded? They are deluded because the gunas are very attractive. They give us experience. Everybody lives for experience. The vasana for experience is huge. And then Swamiji is saying that I will give it the essence. The essence is that very important, because this gives the diagnosis of our samsara problems. The diagnosis is very important, so that the treatment could be or is successful. As we know, this is an analogy Swami likes to play with very often. So unless we diagnose properly our illness, our problem, our situation, we cannot, really get into the proper treatment. So we see it on the level of the physical body. You need to have a good doctor that can successfully diagnose the disease, which is not always easy, so that the proper treatment can take place. So if you don't get the proper diagnosis, you're going to be just trying several treatments, but not necessarily find the cure or the solution. And sometimes you find a solution and you don't know what was the remedy that really solved the problem. We usually do not analyze where our suffering, sorrow comes, and when it began, and it builds, gradually over the time, certain time. And it's very complex. The human psyche is quite something. So, I mean, sometimes people look back and say, so how did I get in here? Why I'm finding myself in this condition now, And it's complex. The mind is complex. And without God, and becomes very difficult. If ultimately the diagnosis, we can look at it from different angles, but materialism is the cause of all samsaric problems. So what is materialism? It's just to live a life driven by desires to contact the material world through my five senses, So I want to enjoy sensory pleasures, and I want to have things that I like, I enjoy. So materialism takes us away from a religious lifestyle, and then we begin suffering. And then sometimes we go to therapists, sometimes we begin meditating, and but as we can see now, it comes a point that we have to address the fundamental problem, and the root diagnosis: you have moved too far away from God. But that is the ultimate diagnosis. So many reasons, if we try to analyze how I got to this condition. So we think, no, if I get money, I will be happy. If I get a good relationship, I will be happy. If I get a beautiful job and a beautiful house and friends, and children. So, but people do not get really happy. And they don't understand that they forgot God. They want to get everything, but they did not brought God, as the anchor, something that gives it support. So Saguna God to begin with, so that I can have support to navigate in this very difficult and complex ocean of meteor. So we go from one thing to another, never find this happiness that everybody lives for. Tom gives several progressive examples, and then children come, and then middle age comes, and unfortunately, depression, anxiety comes as well, very often nowadays, at certain stage of our later aging. So we have the sickness of samsara, and it's not properly diagnosed, and we're gonna try to treat it just with small band-aids or just painkillers that never address the fundamental problem. Well, you have moved away from God. So Swami says, so what is diagnosed? Krishna gives this in this verse. What's that? I briefly tell. Krishna has pointed out that the whole universe is a mixture of spirit and matter. And paraprakriti and apara. Paraprakriti is attractive, and it's colorful. It is shaped, and so on. And the other is the most invisible consciousness principle, or the spirit, which does not have any guna, no characteristics, no attributes, no qualities, no properties. And people say, what is in there for this God? There's nothing in there. It's emptiness, it's the void, it's lonely. So I don't want to go there. I just run to apara. So what is apara? Is saguna, it is inert by nature. It is the nature of savyukara. Savyukara, I think, means it's a change in nature, or not? Yeah. So changing properties or attributes matter principle is apara. Now, since apara has all these properties, it's very much perceptible for our sense organs. Property means sound, form, smell, taste, and so on. Therefore, apara is visible to our sense organs, whereas para-prakriti is the most subtle, the most invisible, and for most people, the most vague and abstract concept. So people indeed feels like so, I mean, there is nothing in there, you know, there's nothing there. It's too abstract, too vague, too nothing, you know? And it takes time to understand that this nothingness means the fullness of conscious existence, the only reality, you know. It takes a long time to understand it clearly. If you remember Kathopanishad, asabda, aparsa, rasa, agandha. So the para-prakriti is invisible, formless principle. So it's not accessible by touch, smell, vision, yeah, seeing, and touch or whatever. Well, those four ways, means by which we can. So we have these two principles. The spirit is invisible by nature, is attributeless. The other is visible, and when there is a mixture of the visible matter with the invisible spirit, we will always attract to what? To the changing apara-prakriti principle. Why? Because, we can go back to the same analogy. So everybody's attracted to the idea of living in association with a lot of people, contact people, going for restaurants and, and meeting people and some private parties. Everybody wants diversity of experiences, to be associated with the world of the gunas. And very few people are just happy alone by themselves. So the visible changing apara prakriti is very attractive. And the people fall for that. But it's, I don't know, it's giving me so much trouble. I think I'm going to try to live with no associations anymore. But most people, even after saying that, is not happy, I remember, a relative of Silvio, Zio, that he said, no, I'm going to live alone because too much trouble relationship. He was never really having a companion. He passed away last year. And then he thought that there may be a solution just to stay alone. No associations to avoid problems, conflicts, difference, and disagreements, and discussions, and arguments. But then if you try to be alone, you're not happy either. So you feel like, oh my God, and now what? Alone, I'm suffering, and relating, I'm also in trouble. So as we can see, it's not something that can be changed out there, but it's an inner transformation only possible by the means of assimilation of self-knowledge, or at least assimilation, proper understanding, assimilation of this spiritual wisdom presented also by Karma, Dharma, Upasana Yoga. Therefore, Krishna says, everyone is distracted by apara prakriti to such an extent that we miss out on para prakriti. That's why everybody is so profoundly distracted and extroverted that we need to begin with Kama Yoga. Because in order to begin tap into Saguna, Nirguna, Brahman, Ishvara. So you need to have a certain introspective, a contemplative mind. But usually we are extroverted, rajasic, we lose sight. We can't really contact paraprakriti, the higher nature of God, our very higher nature. And I feel so attracted to the shapes and colors and names and movements of all these namarupas, especially the ones moving. That's why you take it lightly. You take it lightly what? This spiritual, religious process. Uh, Never say that in a movie the screen is the motionless substratum, but once the movie is on, you are so much distracted that you're going to feel that everything is moving. You lose sight of the screen. The screen is conscious existence, Satchitananda Brahman. If we miss that, and the most incredible, intriguing thing is that this screen, changeless, attributeless screen of consciousness, our very nature, is something so intimate to all of us, and yet is what people miss out all the time. There is something there all the time shining, appearing as the mind and the sense organs, the physical body and all the experience, but somehow we identify with all these guna levels of superimposition. We can look it through the five koshas, the physical, and then the guna nature, and then the mental, emotional, then the intellectual. So, and then the another. So we identify, and we get distracted, and we stay there, and somehow we lose sight of consciousness, which is the screen on which the gunas are superimposed. So Krishna here is saying, you're in big trouble, my friends. You need to observe this motionless substratum, because that is the only reality, your very nature. You have been for so long, so many births out there playing, distracted and attached to this world of the gunas. And now you have to somehow find a way to develop a certain degree of subtlety and introversion to begin tap into the nature of the spirit consciousness or paraprakriti. This is what Krishna is going to say, and Swami must say, we're going to see it next class. So next class comes right now, because we're in the middle of it. But it's pretty much it. Swami is going to go through a lot of repetitions here, most probably, as always, with some new examples, maybe. So Krishna calls apara the inferior nature, and paraprakriti, the consciousness principle. Whenever we experience change and properties, we can blindly say that we experience the gunas of Maya, or apara prakriti of Ishvara. Maya Shwara. And with this norm, when we start the creation, the whole external world, including our physical body, our own mind, thoughts, and feelings, they are all changing. They all belong to the inferior nature of the Lord, paraprak.ti. And there is something built into the experience every time we experience a paraprak.ti, the gunas of Maya, the Ramarup. There is something building there that is always ever present, and that is paraprak.ti, because it does not change and does not have any quality to it. It somehow it appears to be less attractive and appears appears to be as if non-existent for most grosser minds, but it's the only reality. It takes quite a life process, or many lives, to begin building up frustration in regards to the world of the gunas, of these changing, moving objects of experience with multicolors, and I mean, it's so attractive when we are very young. Usually, we are young and stupid, and young and unwise. Some young people seem to be born, already wise, but it's very, very rare. So I think we learn through pain, frustration, trying to really find this peace and happiness by associating or experiencing the gunas of Maya, which are not real and which are changing, providing us with total insecurity, instability, and so on. So we have to suffer again and again, and some people suffer again and again and never learn. That's life, maybe. So, having given this description, Krishna enters in the crucial subject matter. When everything is God and God is divine, why should the human being suffer samsara? Everything is God. This is a very profound inquiry. Everything is God and God is divine. The gunas, they are superimposed upon the God, Brahman, consciousness, existence. So everything is only conscious existence, but there is another order reality, we call it apparent, because the superimposition of the gunas is going to create an appearance, experiential appearance of numberless namarupas. And if we don't know that we only experience God, we only experience Brahman, we're going to normally, usually, understandably, we're going to feel that we experience in namarupas. Generally, the human being goes about that. And when you experience individual namarupas, configurations, there are numberless, infinite numbers of configurations. So it's natural that we develop raga diversion, attraction and repulsion. And then that begins our trouble, because we're going to be living through an instrument of experience, the mind which is subject to desires and fears, and that is a mind, which is not fit for enjoying the Lord. You can only really enjoy the experience of life knowing that everything is Brahman if you have neutralized these disturbing energies of desire, attraction, and repulsion, because if you are under the spell of attraction and repulsion, you cannot be an enjoyer. The state of mind has to be equanimous to a certain degree, balanced, knowing that it's all Ishwara, it's all Brahman. So if everything is God, why we have the problem samsara? Why we suffer? Hmm? So the fundamental problem, the diagnosis is you are suffering of the illness or sickness of samsara. Samsara is going to create a lot of complex psychological conditions. Huh? The number one, I would say, is frustration because nobody can really control the field of experience. And then with frustration comes irritation. With irritation comes sometimes depression, sometimes rage, and then a sequence of psychological conditions that can destroy the individual at the end, destroy one's faculty of discrimination. And that is the delusional stage, the last stage of the thickness of samsara, total delusion. uh, And of course, one is going to feel like I'm I'm a failure. I am incompetent. I'm insecure. I'm incomplete. I'm stupid. I'm suffering. Why I cannot enjoy life? The neighbors have enjoy, but the neighbors are not enjoy. But people project on the neighbors. Then the neighbors have enjoy, but not me. Yeah? I'm still having this sense of inadequacy, incompleteness, and lack. I'm suffering. Discomfort there. Emotional suffering is one of the worst possible things. This is a universal human jiva problem. Different people try to solve this problem without going down to the proper diagnosis. And then they see, no, I'm suffering because this country is not for me, or this house is not for me, okay? Or this planet is not for me. Some people may come to that final conclusion, huh? So, but anyhow, I have to find something to point my finger towards, you know? If I have this, if I have that, if I have fame, if I have position, if I have more money, better house, uh, more love, more friends, fundamental problem is just the sickness of samsara. So, what is this sickness of samsara after all? Huh? Who of you could tell us in a few words? Samsara is a suffering based on a misconception, first, that reality is duality, and the world of namarupas is before me so that I can enjoy what I like and avoid what I don't like. If I succeed in controlling my experience, I'm going to be very happy and filled, fulfilled, and complete. So this is what I often call the impossible mission, because we do not have control over the field of objects of experience, of accomplishment, or anything, or everything like that. There are several laws preventing us from really attract everything or accomplish everything we want to accomplish. So it's a setup that is going to cause great suffering, and that suffering is a psychological complex condition called samsara. Okay, and all begins with the idea that this world is real, the objects are real, they were designed to give me happiness, you know, happiness. I'm a consumer, I'm a go-getter, and I want to get what I want. And due to the impossibility, I will suffer on different degrees, even the terminal condition, yeah? But I will suffer the sickness or disease of samsara. So there is only one remedy. These two verses are so important because presents the diagnosis and the remedy. The 13th verse is presenting the diagnosis. You are suffering because you are too attracted towards the paraprak.ti world of the gunas of Maya, the namarupas, the superimposition of these people, place, things, times, events, and circumstances. So it's going to present the noise, just saying that your mind is extroverted and you are too distracted with this apparent order of the gunas. The fourth is going to present again the remedy that Swan presents as a tablet. Tablet, we think about a computer, kind of computing device or something. Or injection, tablet or injection. Yeah. What is the problem I was trying to explain in the last class? The problem is conscious existence is our superior nature, is the superior nature of the Lord. And whether I know it or not, is my very nature as well. And it is the most subtle. It is the formless, colorless, changeless, actionless, the only reality which is Brahman. If I miss on this aspect of my very existence, which is available at all times, never not present, if I miss that, I'm going to unavoidably identify with my guna nature. And everybody comes totally ignorant that we have a full, whole, and complete nature as consciousness, and But to have that knowledge, I have to have a very refined, subtle mind to be able to understand that, value that, live from that, and be cured from the disease of samsara. It's not easy. It takes a lot of karma, dharma, upasana to develop some subtlety of mind, some contemplation, some, something to prevent the extrovert mind to go out, try to find the proper medicine out there in the world of the gunas of Maya. And the biggest problem is that we have 5 sense organs and instruments and the mind, and none of them are what we need to really get to, let's say, there are no words to say that, get in contact or get into the appreciation of my true nature as the attributeless Brahman. So the mind has to be so subtle, so refined, so contemplative, until we understand the most subtle of the subtle to be my whole, full, and complete, independent, free nature. So the biggest problem is the human beings do not have this subtlety of mind. And then they believe there is no such a thing as para-prakriti. There is only apara-prakriti. There is only the guna-made world of namarupas. That's all I can see. I cannot see Brahman, especially now the scriptures are telling me that I cannot accomplish or get to know Brahman through the 5 senses and the mind. It's very difficult, right? It's almost like cruel, huh? To have all these human beings born in a material, dual physical reality, in which the only solution for this suffering is the recognition of that that is not accessible for our instruments of experience/knowledge. And oh no, but Ishvara saw the impossibility, at least here, because jivas here do not come with a contemplative mind, at least at this time that people like to refer as Kali Yuga. And then he throws the scriptures as the pramana to know Brahman. And that helps indeed. But yet, one needs to be highly qualified. Highly qualified. So sometimes we say, wow, why it's so difficult? Why it's so difficult? Why this ignorance is so dense? Why samsara is often referred to as an ocean which is very, very difficult to cross, you know? Paraprak.ti does not have any of those aspects of the gunas, of the five senses. How can you perceive and get to value and understand your very nature as a nirguna atma? There is no such a thing as a nirguna object. There is only such a thing as a nirguna subject, the only reality. Not only we do not perceive or recognize or appreciate paraprak.ti, we do not even attempt to know this paraprak.ti because we are born out of these vasanas, extroverted vasanas, and we come with a lot of desires, a load of desires to more contact with the world of apara. I want the guna world of Maya. I came here for that. That's my mission. My vasanas gave me this instrument of knowledge, experience. So where are the gunas? Where are the objects of experience? I am a consumer of gunas. So everybody's busy consuming objects, which are just superimpositions, appearance superimpositions done by the gunas of Maya. Everybody busy, 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 busy. In the United States, it's common to call it the rat race, running to try to be successful in gaining things that supposedly should make people complete and happy and satisfied and peaceful. The attraction is so difficult, it's so profound because the ignorance is so profoundly hardwired in the souls. Everybody comes for that. But here and there are some people that are born with an introspective spiritual vasana as well. Somehow, sometimes it takes 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, but that vasana comes to the surface and then one changes one's direction of life rather than running after objects of the apara gunas of Maya. One stops running to gain, running to keep, running to avoid. One say it's meaningless. I mean, what am I doing my entire life doing that? So I need to stop and regroup and develop another strategy to find happiness in life. And that's why Krishna is going to later call apara is Mohini. Just as in the Puranic story, Mohini came and all the Asuras were attracted by Mohini. I do not want to tell the story because you all know it. I don't know. Who knows the Mohini story? You probably know, huh, Lynn?
No, I don't. Only that Mohini was a female devil,
Okay.
and she had this allure for men, and she would end up destroying them.
Okay, a very attractive female entity, no male entities could resist, but behind that beautiful appearance, she was just a destroyer. Huh? Very, very interesting analogy or Quranic story. Thank you, Lynn. So she appeared, but she came on a beautiful mission. Mohini appeared. Ishwara called Mohini and said, I have a mission for you, Mohini. I want you to go down, and this time you're going to destroy only the Asuras, not my good people. And then she said, okay, this is a beautiful mission. I will do that. My nature is destroying, is seduce and destroy, but now I'm going to do that only with the Asuras. What did Asuras lose? And the knowledge of para-prakriti was lost for the Asuras. Of course, they were totally caught up in meteor objects. And moksha was something far beyond their desire. So the Asuras, they were lost in the samsara. I don't know if that's what Swami is trying to say here. But anyhow, she came, and Mohini, called apura-prakriti, keeps us busy all the time. So Swami is explaining here how seductive these gunas of Maya are. Understand? Symbolized in the attraction, beauty of a young female entity, which knows how to seduce. So Maya is exactly like that. It's this entity that can deceive everybody. In analogy, I'm always preoccupied because I love apara-prakriti. Apara-prakriti. I'm always preoccupied with this changing universe of guna objects. If I'm not preoccupied with what's happening around me, I'm preoccupied with my body. I'm preoccupied with aging. And then I get into to do some facelift or buy some books to how to, to slow down the aging process. I'm doing everything to make my hairstyle nicer and more beautiful, but inside of the head there is nothing. So hair care, skin, and everything is not going to solve the problem. The world and the body and the mind and everything that is composed by the gunas are so wonderfully deceiving, attractive, that the person is carried away. And because of this preoccupation and desire and attachment, the person loses track of another birth, which was given the opportunity to turn towards para-prakriti. Therefore, Krishna tells in the 13th verse, because of the para-prakriti endowed with tribhi, the gunas, three gunas, everybody is extrovertedly distracted. In the 14th chapter, Krishna will present the medicine, the cure, which is not a band-aid. It's something profoundly, it's a profound cure, permanent cure. Each guna is responsible for our bondage. each one of these energies, which are said to be gunas because it bounds the human jivas to the guna world of Maya, the apara prakriti order. And then we say, oh, but there is one guna that does not bound us to anything, you know. So there is the sattva guna, which is responsible for knowledge and clarity, that is not going to bound us. But unfortunately, knowledge and clarity comes with a sense of profound peace and satisfaction that can bound ones as well, you know. So we have the sattvic mind, which is wiser, more clear, more contemplative, and more knowledgeable, and so on. But with that aspect, that faculty, with that kind of attributes of a sattvic mind comes a certain seduction as well, which is the fragrance of Ananda, that people say, let me enjoy this Ananda, and let's keep the wisdom which is available to me towards, through this, by the means of this contemplative mind. So I'm going to inquire in the future. Right now, let me have a beautiful experience of Ananda, because I lived my whole life experience Rajas and Tamas, or experience the world through a body mind, or mind which was more dominated by Rajoguna and Tamoguna. Let me enjoy. I mean, can you see how easy it is as well? We remain bound by Sattva Guna, satisfaction, peace. The only solution is to go all through to the inquire into the true nature of paraprak.ti, that which is the substratum, which is behind the gunas of Maya. And we get bound not only to the external objects, but the inner object being, Ananda, state of mind, the most deceiving and attractive guna object, of experience. Because of that, 99.999% of people in the world, with rare exceptions, they are bound to apara prakriti. They are bound by the gunas. Every experience in the physical material world and the sattva world, all of them, they are constituted by the gunas. The gunas are the building blocks of the three worlds, or the two, the sattva and and the physical material. So we have the gunas all around, and we are bound by the gunas because we haven't really understood and tapped into that which is behind the gunas. Therefore, in Kathopanishad, it said, Sarvam Jagata here means all the people, the jivas. The word Jagata means the entire humanity of jivas. We don't take animals into the equation here, because they're not bound really by a kind of conscious karma, I mean, they do not exercise any free will, really. You cannot expect animals to go beyond their human instinct, or animal instinct, sorry. So none of this, I mean, I have one small chicken. Mark knows this little chicken. It keeps very quiet. Sometimes I think that she is meditating. But I think Mark told me, no, she is being bullied. No, other chicken are bullying her and she keeps quiet in a corner. But she's not an inquirer or a meditator. Right? This is only for human beings to go for, to do. Therefore, human jivas deluded by the attractive nature of the gunas of Maya, what happens to them? They do not come to know the only reality, which is my nature as nirguna atma. They don't even attempt to know. There is, it takes such an incredible degree of merit to even to attempt to understand the nirguna nature of the world, of the universe, of the Atma, of the Jiva, of God. Even to make an attempt to move into that direction, it's so rare. And that is my higher nature, myself, my superior nature. It's Nirguna Atma. People do not know and people do not believe there is such a thing. People, therefore, do not value and they do not do anything to try to accomplish that, let's say. And when they try, a lot of the time they do it academically. So what's the harm if I do not want to go for the search, the seek, of my true nature as Nirguna Brahman, the pur.atvam? So there is no problem. I take responsibility. I'm going to enjoy and suffer. I don't want to do anything other than enjoy and suffer. There is no harm. What is the harm? And then the jiva will say, in fact, I find apara wonderful, capable of provide me with great moments of pleasure. I had a friend in Spain that she came up with this, no, I have such a beautiful life. I enjoy life so much. I enjoy so much punya, And then the funny thing is that with the COVID thing, this person almost lost everything, and the punya turned out to be, not as sweet. You never know. You never know. So things never remain the same from one moment to another. Things may change around. It's better not to rely on punya, on your life circumstance, because it never remains the same. So there is only one cure, which is redirect your life towards paraprakriti. Don't rely on apara. I was telling the story to Mark of a man that was very rich. He was the owner of the building where we did our restaurant in Olympia, Washington. And the crisis, the financial credit debit crisis of 2008 made him lose nearly everything, and then he lost his health. He had a heart attack that somehow, he was never the same again. So there is no stability. There is no real security, mitya, in paraprakriti. That's why the scripture says you should know that a paraprakriti will not secure you, will not make you feel really stable. No? It can provide you with what seems to be stability or security with basic needs of life, but that can be taken away anytime. Paraprakriti can never give you some of the fundamental needs of our life. the first thing that we need is pur.atvam. So Swami is presenting here in these commentaries that this mithya world of apara cannot even give us our basic needs of life. But he's presenting basic needs of life in a very high standard, you know. He say that your real basic needs of life is pur.atvam, is a sense of I'm okay, I'm complete, I'm satisfied. Yeah. So you don't find any successful people in the world who is going to feel safe, secure, and fulfilled, complete, and peacefully satisfied. So I'm saying here that everybody, every human being has this need, yearning for pur.atvam, sense of completion and satisfaction. And in the world of apara, the objects of the gunas of Maya, you will never get this pur.atvam. Because everything we see in apara is bound by time, finite by nature. If pur.atvam is not there, shanti will not come. So, I mean, in the beginning, we try to say, no, it's okay, stay in the world, do this, you're going to get some degree of peace and satisfaction, happiness with, having success in the world. So we don't want to scare people too much. Nobody comes to Vedanta. Slowly, we come to a statement such as this presented by Swami Paramarthananda, no? Even successful people suffer. They feel yet unfulfilled, incomplete, insecure, disturbed. Shastra points out that only self-knowledge, understanding your nature as paraprak.ti, is going to establish your mind with a sense of pur.atvam, of security. So living dependent on things from this paraprak.ti, appearing order, is only provide more and more samsara illness, sense of incompletion. As long as you hold on to apara, you will suffer. The only way out is to move, to redirect one's life towards paraprak.ti. So this is the first point, very important point on this 13th verse highlighted here by Swami Paramarthananda. Okay? Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Namaste.
Thank you, Orlando.
Thank you.
Class.
We meet
points out how
Right.
pitiful we all are, but
Huh? I did not hear you.
I said it's a lovely class that pointed out the pitiful nature of samsara.
Yeah.
We have to get that clear, I guess.
Yeah, again and again.
Absolutely.
Again and
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
And we meet this coming Friday. Okay? Ishwara willing. Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste.
Love you.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Arvindo. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye now.